Hello, my name is Dana Stetson. I'm your business broker. When I first meet a prospective business owner or buyer of a business, I often get asked the question, why am I a part of a franchise and what are the advantages of such an association? To help answer these questions, I've invited Linda Nyman, the co-founder of First Choice Business Brokers, to share how she got started in the business and the value a franchise brings to the business broker, the business seller, and the business buyer. Linda, please introduce yourself.
Hi, thanks for having me, Dana. I'm Linda Nyman, co-founder of First Choice Business Brokers and also co-CEO. My husband and I started the company a while back. It's 32 years ago now. I can't believe it. We started in a small office, very small office, and now we have grown into a national franchise. Let's see, we're across, I think, 130 territories now in 36 states, and we're still growing. So that's us.
Well, that's totally amazing. When you launched your career in business broker, how did you get started with it before the franchise actually?
Well, we got into this business in the early 90s. I think it was around 93. And I think, like many people in this industry, we didn't grow up thinking, oh, I'm going to be a business broker, right? Now, of course, I must admit, I was part of the small business arena in high school, actually. I was part of the FBLA, the Future Business Leaders of America. So that's my little claim to fame there. But we started in the early 90s. I had come from banking and consulting, and Jeff from a consulting background. And we saw a real need in the marketplace. We saw that business owners were completely underserved. They really didn't know what to do. They either thought, oh, okay, I have to grow my business because that's what you're supposed to do, or they needed to close their business because they didn't have a family member that was going to take it over. And of course, in today's market, we see very little succession between family, the owners of those businesses and the children. The children of today's business owner really aren't interested in taking over the same way. So with the baby boomers coming in and wanting to retire, we're seeing a really high need in this industry. And we saw it back in the 90s. So now, again, with the baby boomers today, it's crazy. So we saw that gap. We saw it as a huge opportunity. And there really wasn't anybody else in the market at the time. And really, it's kind of a small market still. It's a niche industry for sure.
So expanding on that response, what would be the basic skills you would want to see in a business broker before they entered the business?
I've thought about this a lot, and especially as we're bringing new associates on and new franchisees. And I think for business brokers, they need to have a passion or maybe even a curiosity for business in general or entrepreneurship. Did they see themselves there but weren't sure what they wanted to do? Sometimes those people are considered like serial entrepreneurs. So I think having that passion for business is good. From some soft skill side and even some hard skill side, emotional intelligence. I think what we do is very meaningful in people's lives. And I think that sometimes, I know it's counterintuitive, but business owners are emotional beings, just like we are, right? So we're in the business of helping people that just happen to own businesses. We really have to look at it that way. So I think some emotional intelligence, some financial literacy obviously helps, but we do a lot of training on that. Having patience, because people are making big decisions. They're deciding if they want to sell their business, and it's highly emotional. And the people coming in, those buyers coming in, are thinking, am I ready for this? Can I handle it? So that side of patience and being able to be a little bit of a therapist is good. Strong communication skills, being a buffer between buyers and sellers. I think that's important. Being organized, being a facilitator. You're not selling a widget here, right? You're selling somebody's future and you're selling somebody's past. So I feel like that has a lot to do with it as well. It's just being thoughtful and mindful of what you're stepping into. So I think somebody needs to realize they're at an intersection, right, between the legacy of the seller and the buyer coming in. So it would be like, I'm a seller and I want to get out of this business, and I see an opportunity to do that, and a buyer is coming into it with all this passion and excitement, and you're the strategist between these parties.
Well, that was very insightful. Thank you so much. So, what is one of your kind of favorite or standout transactions? Doesn't have to be a large one, an interesting one that you might share.
Over the last 30 plus years, there have been a lot of them. I guess I would say my favorite and my most memorable are the ones where we are working with legacy sellers. These are sellers that started their business from scratch. So we had one, um, the grandfather. Now this would have gone back. I was dealing with the grandson. So we had the third generation. He came back from the war in 19 of around the 1940s, right? And was trying to decide what to do with his life and wanted to get into almost what you would call today a recession-proof business. And then later, now we're working with the grandson, and the grandson is managing these multi-million dollar properties all over the US. The grandfather had put together such an amazing business, and it had grown over the years. And we got to be part of that journey. So that was exciting. And we also dealt with a husband and wife that they were 80 and 81, and they came into the US with maybe $500 in their pocket. They immigrated to the US and started a door company, a distribution company, and grew it to have several city blocks in Las Vegas. And we got to be involved with that. So it was an honor and opportunity because they had such a story behind them. It was unbelievable. So those are some memorable ones. And the buyers that came into those businesses really respected. So those sellers chose the buyers because they really respected what the seller had built up. And that was fun to be part of. I really feel it was truly an honor. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but it was a privilege and an honor to be part of some of those sales.
Well, Linda, that's really terrific. So, being a successful business broker, what motivated you to make the transition, if you will, to actually build a franchise and co-found First Choice Business Brokers?
We sometimes blame Mike Faust. He was an agent with us back in the early 2000s. He's still with us. He said, you guys are doing something so incredible here. And so after years of operating successfully and growing Las Vegas, we were getting brokers saying, "What are you doing so differently?" And we thought, well, I guess we've developed systems and processes, and we have good forms, and we have training. And he says, "Yeah, you've developed a repeatable model. You've developed something that others could use." And we realized that this industry lacked consistency. It really did. So I guess the necessity is the mother of invention in this case. So we decided, you know what, this is a really great opportunity for us to raise the bar, raise the standard in the industry, because it was so fragmented when we got in. And still we're educating the public that business brokers exist this 20 some odd years later. After Mike was kind of getting in front of us with this idea, he introduced us to a few people, and the rest is history. We now have franchisees that can truly just plug into a system, and they don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Wow, that's insightful. So, why is a business broker being a part of a franchise an advantage to the seller or a buyer of a business?
For a business broker, they have the confidence, right? They have the confidence to go in. They have the clarity of how to value businesses. So whether it's a buyer or a seller, for them, what they're getting out of it is having an established system, standard processes, back office support. They have deal structure support. They're getting national exposure, so they're part of something bigger than themselves locally, and they're getting probably most importantly the collective experience, right? The collective experience of the entire network. And we all deal in different parts of the market. So when a seller is hiring a broker to sell their business, they're not just hiring one person. They're hiring this entire company that's going to back that person. So it's cumulative experience, training. We have the legal templates, the marketing systems, the strategy behind that. And as you've experienced, I'm sure a lot, Dana, is peer collaboration. You're collaborating with your peers on the best way to handle situations and scenarios. And remember, we're again dealing with people that happen to have businesses, right? Whether it's a very large business and, the 15 million plus, or it's a small pizza restaurant, we're still dealing with people and their biggest asset.
Well, great. You touched on a little bit of the size of the organization, but about how many brokers, agents, locations do you have today?
We cover about 130 territories in 36 states and a little over or right around 300 agents now nationally. So it's a good group now. It's a culture that we're really proud of, and that's really, I guess, what sets us apart. We're not looking to just sell territories out there. We're looking to bring in people that want to collaborate, share their knowledge, and support one another. It's more about what we can bring to each other and elevate the industry in general. But the size has definitely increased over the
Well,
years.
congratulations. So,
Thank you.
what are your goals for the franchise over the next 5 or more years? Where do you see it going? Where do you see First Choice being, say, 5 years from now?
Well, definitely, we want to continue to elevate the professionalism of the industry. As I was saying earlier, it was fragmented, and it kind of still feels that way. We business brokers tend to play in their own sandbox because of the confidential nature of the industry. So we want to continue to kind of be the benchmark of professionalism, but we also want to show the heart of the industry because I think that's the biggest fear for business owners is, will somebody really listen to me and understand me? We're a referral based company, so we want to continue to collaborate with other companies that are in our space. They're not necessarily business brokers, they might be exit planners, they might be CPA firms, law firms. So we want to build up that referral base. And of course, we want to continue to offer what we offer today, which is the best training and support in the industry, but we want to continue to evolve. We definitely embrace technology, so that's something that we're going to continue to integrate into the business. We like the thought leadership side of things as well. So educating business owners, I see the next 5 years us becoming a one stop for business owners to say, hey, I'm thinking about selling or I'm thinking about buying. How can I go about doing this and being prepared for it? Educating them, being an educator of that business owner or that entrepreneur. Uh, like most franchise models, of course, we want to grow our national presence in the US, but we're also looking beyond the US, growing internationally. We definitely have made inroads in that space a little bit as well, making connections there. And, you know, I guess going back to the heart of it, where I'm at, I want to continue to support our franchisees. We want to keep building on that asset and letting those franchisees leverage what we have internationally at that point and really build an asset in their local market because again, this is that human side of the business.
Well, it sounds exciting. How do you
Mm.
see the business brokerage business itself sort of evolving over that same period? What changes might you expect to see over the next 5 years or so?
I think we're growing, obviously growing a lot. I think we're going to see a lot more education to the public. We'll see more happening with the Small Business Administration. It's SBA bringing in more lending opportunities for us. Technology itself is going to play a larger role. I know that we all think about that and we're almost tired of hearing AI, but AI is out there. It's here to stay, right? Data analytics, smarter buyer matching. We want to have a little bit of that more integrated. Um, but what won't actually change, I think, is the very human element of our business. So we can automate all the systems and we want to do that. And we see that happening in the industry, right? We're going to see that happening, but we can't automate the trust behind the relationship between us and the seller, us as an advisor to the buyer, and then of course between the buyer and seller. So we're not going to lose that human element with AI. And I don't think we should be afraid of what's happening on the technology side. That's probably going to be the single largest change, if you want to call it a change. I think it's just another tool in our tool belt. That's all it is. Baby boomers are retiring. They're going to be a big part of our business, and they are not plugged in fully to that AI or that technology side. So those small to medium sized business owners are still going to want the human side of it. So I think the ones that are going to thrive out there as business brokers are going to be the ones that have a strong human element. They're able to have a high touch advisory skill set, but also the technology. They're going to have to deal with the technology coming up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Linda, any final thoughts for either maybe someone considering entering the industry as a broker, or maybe a seller, or one or both of those thoughts? Any final points you'd like to raise here on this call?
For somebody coming into the industry, I think you have to treat it like a profession. It is an industry, right? It's not a side hustle. It's not an add-on. This is what you are. You identify as a business broker. That's what you do. So I think you need to invest time in training, working on your craft, understanding what's available, always staying on top of the latest trends of opportunities for sellers to exit their business more safely, if you will. Treat it like the honor it is, because you are introducing yourself into often a family of business owners, whether it's a small family or a group of members. You are involving yourself in probably their largest single asset. So I can't say that enough. I know I've kind of touched on that quite a bit, but it truly is an honor to work with these people. And behind every business, there is a lifetime of effort, risk that they put out there, a big heart behind it. So we don't just sell businesses. So from a business brokerage perspective, don't come in thinking you're just going to be working with numbers. You're going to be working with people, and you're going to be guiding them through one of their life's biggest transitions. And you need to do that with respect and experience, gather that experience, collaborate with your partners, and of course, the care behind it. If you're thinking about selling your business, it's never too soon. I mean, that's one of the funny things I've heard out there. It's a little quote. When's the best time to start thinking about selling your business? And it's the day you enter, right? Start
Hmm.
early. Think about it. Understand what drives the value in today's market. Keep your financials as clean as possible, and get a baseline valuation. A lot of good business brokers will offer you those valuations as a perk, if you will, of working with them. They'll do it as a courtesy, and they'll do it every year or every 6 months to help guide you through that. So I would get a baseline valuation, and most importantly, don't try to do it alone. There are people that are out there that do this every day, all day. This is what they do. We're business brokers, and we're here to serve that very small niche out there of individuals that are ready to roll, right? They're ready to do something. But we also have the greater good of the small business community, which there are 30 some odd million small business owners out there. So we're here to serve you and to help you. That's the best thing that I can say to a business owner. Don't look at it as a one and done. We are a referral based industry. So we're going to do our best to help them.
Well, Linda, thank you so much for your insight and your time. And again, my name is Dana Stetson, and I am your business broker.